am pleased to once again welcome you to another edition of the program Kaduna Electric Watch. I am your regular anchor, Asma'u Muhammad. In today's edition of the program, we shall look at the rights and obligations of both the customers and the service providers in the Nigerian electricity value chain. We shall lay emphasis on the contentious issues that often resulted in needless misunderstanding and unnecessary agitations between our customers and us. All these are in our effort to create better understanding and harmonious relationship between the company and our valued customers. In a related development, we shall bring you an interview with the head enforcement unit of Kaduna Electric, Engineer Isa Ahmad. Suffice to say, the enforcement unit, as the name suggests, is responsible for enforcing all the industry and business rules and regulations. The unit also ensures that the personnel of our company and all third-party vendors conduct themselves in the most acceptable ethical manner while dealing with the customers. You can't afford to miss it. Lastly, we shall bring you a special report on the just concluded meeting of the Publicity Committee of the Association of Nigerian Electricity Distributors, ANET, held in Kaduna. This and many more shall come your way after the news by Rukaiya Hamisu Abubakar.
Thank you, Asmao. I sincerely hope our customers are enjoying the improvement in power supply recently. We can sustain this by paying our bills constantly. Here is the news. First, the major items. Faith-based organizations have been charged to ensure prompt settlement of electricity bills to avoid withdrawal of service to such formations. Kaduna Electric emerged first in NEMSA safety ranking for October 2018. Abuja Disco and Kaduna Electric partners on capacity building and change management. Kaduna Electric create new regional office in Kafanchan. Now the news in full. The management of Kaduna Electric said mosques, churches, and other faith-based organizations, like other users of electricity, are obligated to pay their monthly electricity bills. This clarification was in a press statement by the head corporate communications of the Kaduna Electric, Malam Abdulaziz Abdullahi. According to him, the clarification became necessary in a wake of erroneous impressions being held in some quarters that mosques, churches, and other faith-based institutions were exempted from paying their electricity bills. Lately, this has often resulted in unnecessary bickering and heightening of ethno-religious tension. He made it clear that Kaduna Electric, as an electricity distribution company, have an obligation to remit to the market the naira equivalent of the energy supplied to it every month. Consequently, the company urged all faith-based organizations and institutions to ensure that their electricity bills are settled as at when due to avoid disconnection of such supply. This is the only way we can guarantee sustainability and efficiency in service delivery. Kaduna Electric has emerged first in the October 2018 safety ranking by Nigerian Electricity Management Service Agency, NEMSA, of all distribution companies and transmission company. The ranking results signed by the Managing Director NEMSA, Engineer Peter Ewoso, showed that the Kaduna Electric maintained zero work-related injury for the past 5 months. NEMSA used 5 criteria for ranking, namely total number of accidents, fatalities, major injuries, bad network, and monthly safety report compliance. A statement by the company's head of corporate communication, Abdulaziz Abdullahi, attributed the feat to a sustained enlightenment campaign and rigorous safety protocols put in place by the company before any work is carried out by its technical team. He also said the company placed a lot of premium on safety awareness and called on customers to imbibe safety culture. In a bid to further move closer to our valued customers, the management of Kaduna Electric has created a new regional office in Kafanchan, Kaduna State. The creation of the new regional office was announced via a statement by the head corporate communications, Abdulaziz Abdullahi, who said the new Kafancha regional office shall take charge of 6 local governments, namely Jama'a, Kagoro, Sanga, Zangwan Kataf, Kagarku, and Kachia in southern part of Kaduna State. According to him, the regional office created a few months ago has now fully taken off with the deployment of necessary personnel and administrative architecture to the area. Maila Abdulaziz called on the customers of the company to support the company's initiative aimed at enhancing customer satisfaction by paying electricity bills promptly, stating that creation of formations such as regional office are aimed at bringing the company closer to the customers and enhance decision-making process for more efficient service delivery. The management of Kaduna Electric and Abuja Electricity Distribution Company has pledged to work together to improve service delivery in their respective franchise. The peak of their collaboration effort came earlier in the week when a joint knowledge-sharing workshop was held for officials of the two companies in Kaduna. The chief commercial of Kaduna Electric, Malam Murtala Bello, who stood in for the managing director, chief executive officer, described the synergy and collaboration between the two distribution companies as timely and shall go a long way in improving the capacity of their personnel and place them on a strong footings to satisfy the electricity requirements of their customers. In a related development, Next Year Power Consultancy, in collaboration with Kaduna Electric, has organized a one-day workshop to sensitize customers on operations of the electricity industry. Mr. Chinedu Oyengbula from Next Year Power Solution dwelled on the rights and responsibilities of the customers as stipulated in the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission. In his contribution, the Business Development and Relationship Officer, Doka Regional Office, Engineer Umar Farouk, urged customers to pay their bills on time, adding that energy theft and vandalism constitute the major challenges affecting the distribution of electricity. According to him, vandalization of power equipment occurs daily, and the company has lost over 100 transformers worth millions of naira this year alone. He called on customers to be more vigilant and help to protect power equipment in their various communities. The Emir of Zazzau, Alhaji Shehu Idris, who was represented by Alhaji Abubakar Alhaji, urged customers to shun vandalism and pay their electricity bill as at when due. The Emir also lauded Kaduna Electric for organizing such an event, which, according to him, offered the customers opportunity to hear their views and to understand their rights and obligations. That's the end of the news. Thank you.
Welcome back. In our last edition of Kaduna Electric Watch, we announced the segmentation of our customers into those on green, yellow, and red feeders. It is pertinent to make further clarifications here that this categorization of our customers is not cast on stone. No feeder shall be permanently designated to remain green, yellow, or red. The response of the customers on every feeder to payments of their bills determines which feeder they belong to. It is our desire to see all our customers enjoy steady, qualitative, and uninterrupted power supply always. The HCB Customers Unit, Malam Bashir Maazu, offer more clarifications.
Our categorization of our customers is into 3 broad categories. We have the red, the yellow, and the green customers according to the feeders in which they get their supply from. Now, to answer your question, the categorization is not cast in stone. It's actually a function of their payment and the amount of revenue we generate from a particular set of customers. So if a customer on a red feeder improves on his payment and collectively there's an improvement in that area, automatically that feeder is going to graduate from a red feeder to a yellow feeder. Likewise, for a yellow feeder, if there's improvement in terms of the payment response, which will translate into more revenue for the company, there's automatically going to be a movement, an upward movement from a yellow feeder onto a green feeder. Now, we all know the characteristics of these feeders. The green feeder is our priority feeder, where we prioritize our operations in terms of energy delivery and other services. These customers on the green feeder enjoy close to 24 hours now as we're speaking, closely followed by customers on the yellow feeder. For the green feeder customers, their payment pattern is very, very okay, and we generate sufficient revenue to continue doing our business in those areas. But even for the green feeders, there's still much room for improvement. If we're able to improve in terms of our payment response, we can serve our customers much better than the way we're doing now. So just to recap, the question you asked is not cast in stone. It's actually a function of the amount of revenue we generate, which is also a function of the payment response from our customers. So our message to our customers is, please try and settle your bills on time, pay your bills on time so that we can serve you better. Thank you very much.
The head enforcement unit, Engineer Isa Ahmad, sat down with Jamila Bala, where he discussed the operational modality of the unit, the wisdom behind the formation of the unit, how far has the unit gone in injecting sanity into service delivery in the company's franchise area, and other sundry issues. Please don't go away as Jamila take it from here.
Thank you for staying with us. In today's interview, we have Engineer Isa Ahmed with us, Head Enforcement Team, Kaduna Electric. Sir, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
In what ways does the enforcement team contribute to more efficiency in service delivery?
Okay. The whole essence of privatization, if we look at it, is to reduce what is being called as AT and C loss. That's aggregate, technical, commercial, and collection losses. So in those losses, what we have are, like on the case of commercial losses, are losses that incurred due to customers that are consuming energy without being caught within the system. That's customers who are stealing energy directly from the system. They are not part of the database of the company. And there are customers that, yes, they are part of the system, meaning that they may have meter, yet they bypass their meter or they tampered with their meter. So our job here is to ensure that we bring down those losses. How do we do that? We look at customers, or we check for those customers who are directly stealing energy, and or those customers who have bypassed their meter. Now, when we get those customers who bypass their meter or steal energy, there are sanctions that, based on the regulator, that's Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, gave out to all the discos or all the players within the industry, that's been applied to those customers who are bypassing their meter or who are stealing their energy. Now, the issue of service delivery, efficient service delivery can only be possible in a regulated market or in a regulated business, in a commercial business that is regulated, when you have adequate liquidity, when customers that's consuming your product, your energy, are paying for the exact energy they consume. That's when you have an efficient service delivery, because when you don't have enough money to pay for the energy your customers pay, you don't have enough money for you to maintain the network, you don't have money to improve the services, the service delivery will never be efficient. So In a nutshell, what I'm trying to say is enforcement activities are geared towards ensuring that customers are paying for the energy they consume, deterring customers from direct stealing for energy, deterring them from tampering with their meter or bypassing their meter. Basically, that's what we do. By so doing, it means that customers will pay for the energy they consume. If they do that, in return, there will be liquidity in the business so that the discos can be able to pay for the energy they buy from the market operator. They'll be able to pay for they will be able to provide for maintenance facilities, and they will be able to provide for service improvement.
Thank you very much. Is the enforcement team meant to serve the interest of the company alone, or the customers to stand to benefit?
Yeah, the customers stand to benefit also, in such a way that if, number one, if I'm a paying customer and my neighbor is not paying, definitely it will hurt me, isn't it?
Yes.
Secondly, if that my neighbor is not paying, I know it will have an impact on the business itself, to the extent that the service provider, that's the disco, the distribution company, will not be able to give me the supply or the services that I needed. If these discos are not having enough money, they will not be able to sustain the business to my own satisfaction. And if they are not able to do that, I will be affected. If I'm a businessman, my business will be affected. Probably my cost of operation will be high, and my product will not be competitive in the market. And at the end of the day, personally, maybe my sales will be low. I have to maybe downsize depending on the number of staff I have. And if care is not taken, I may be out of business. So the customers themselves, especially those paying customers, they stand to benefit. Even those who are not having meters, but they are paying customers. Most of the time, discos look at the energy consumed by those who are having meters. And the rest of the energy are being cascaded or are being shared to those customers who are having bills, but they are not having meters, isn't it? It will assume that is their consumption. So if there is somebody close to me that is stealing the energy, and I'm paying customer, but I don't have meter, I have bills, isn't it? His consumption will be shared to me and only other customers of my own classification. So, but if this guy is made to pay for the energy he consumes, meaning that my consumption, apparent consumption, will really be reduced. So customers equally stand to gain from enforcement activities.
Thank you very much. You talked about meter bypass and energy theft.
Yeah.
How bad is the situation, and what is the effect of meter bypass to the electricity value chain?
Yeah, it's too bad. It's too bad in the sense that all categories of customers, they do bypass their meters. Whether with the consent of the customer who actually pay for the bill or not, but majority of the customers, be it MD, be it residential houses, and even on the residential houses, be it in GRA, semi-density and high-density areas, they all call so many customers, high-profile customers, high-profile individual will meter bypass, isn't it? High-profile, isn't it? Some names cannot be mentioned, but high-profile customers have been called with meter bypass.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Engineer Isa Ahmed, for having you on our program. Over to you, Asma Muhammad, for our next segment. Thank you.
Thank you for being with us. As earlier announced, last month, Kaduna Electric hosted the monthly meeting of the Publicity Committee of Association of Nigerian Electricity Distributors, ANET. This body comprises the heads corporate communications departments of the 11 distribution companies across the country. Correspondent Abdurrahman Muhammad covered the meeting and prepared a special report. His report.
This month's meeting of the ANED Publicity Committee with the theme Privatization of the Power Sector, the Journey So Far, had in attendance representatives from Kaduna, Kano, Ibadan and Benin Disco, as well as the ANED Secretariat. Addressing the participants, the Executive Director, Research and Advocacy, ANED, Barrister Sunday Oduntan, charged the Corporate Communications Department in the 11 distribution companies to always be proactive and constantly keep the general public adequately informed about the operations of their respective discos and the state of the Nigerian electricity supply industry in general. According to him, the privatization of the power sector, which is almost in its fifth year, has recorded significant success in network rehabilitations, system upgrade and integration, process realignment, metering, ICT and automation, etc. Hence, the need for communication personnel to do more in creating the much-needed awareness through sustained media campaigns and stakeholders' engagement. He contended that the satellite of all regulatory authorities, the government and all stakeholders alike are beamed on the operators, especially the distribution layer of the value chain, and called on the communication experts to sustain the momentum through their internal and external communication machineries. The Publicity Committee of ANED, besides driving the communication action plans of the association, serves as the think tank of last layer of the Nigerian electricity supply chain. High points of the meeting were the adoption of this month's theme for all communication campaigns and the strategies that will positively improve public perception of the sector. It has been Mohammed Abdurrahman reporting.
If you are just joining us, this is Kaduna Electric Watch, your regular educative and entertaining program that brings you a valuable information on the Nigerian electricity supply industry, the operations of Kaduna Electric in its 4 franchise states, as well as useful safety tips. Now we shall bring you the feedback segments.
The power supply in my area has improved. I think I get more than 15 hours or 16 hours of power supply, which is commendable from what it used to be.
Okay, what community is that?
That's Nasfat Layout, Kaduna.
Okay, thank you.
Well, the nature of power supply in our community, of course, there is a little improvement in the power supply in the community. But then, my community, I came from Danhonu, Kadore community. The way and manner the community contributed to see that the power supply get into the community. But the way the Ketco company is giving the community power, and the way the billings, in fact, while we are here, we came here to say out our complaint on the issue of the way billing system the company adopted, in such a way that each and every month, since June, each and every month, the company keep on adding money into the billing on each customer, despite the fact that these customers, they contributed meaningfully toward the coming in the light in the community.
Here we come to the end of today's edition of the program. On behalf of my colleagues and all the production crew, it's me, Asma Muhammad, saying bye for now. Do have a wonderful time.